Okay, so I'm going to work the problems out of order since you have them on your page out of order. So I'll start with 17 and then go to 16. But you look good for 17. You started by looking by grouping, and that seems like it didn't work out. So then you went to long division. And so just as a quick reminder, the rational roots theorem says, find a list of all the factors of 64. So that'd be 1, 2. There we go. So our list, so you can fill it out. So 1 times 64, 2 times 32, 4 times 16, and 8 times itself. I'll give you 64. So then that's the factors of the 64. Now we don't care if it's negative or positive because we're going to take all these to be negative or positive anyway. So then the rational number on the front here, the leading coefficient would be 1, so then all the factors of 1 is 1. So therefore the rational roots theorem says that if we have a real 0 and it's rational, it will either be 1 over 1, 2 over 1, 4 over 1, 8 over 1, 16 over 1, so on and so forth. And then all the plus or minus versions. So we need to go through using long division or synthetic division, the plus or minus version of each of these numbers. So you're on the right track. If you know you're doing it long division, I would personally do it synthetically. It's a little faster. So the synthetic division says the coefficients are 1, negative 12, 48, negative 64. Excuse me. Sorry, this little message is coming up. Let me get rid of it. Okay, so if we're going to try a number, remember it's of the form x minus k, where k is over here. So if I wanted to test the number 1, let's say, if I want, what I'm really testing here is the factor of x minus 1. So anyway, we'll work through that, double check it. So when I multiply this through, 1 times 1 makes 1. Then I add these together, so that makes negative 11. Negative 11 times 1 makes negative 11. That makes 37. That makes 37. Key thing here is I can tell you when I add these together, it's not 0, so therefore I know that's not a factor. So that does not work. So now let's try negative 1. So I just did the work for negative 1. And you would, so I hope if you didn't, you can pause the video, check your work, whatnot, and did not work, so we're going to try another number. But I will say the good news is we can now knock 1 off our list. We know 1 isn't going to work, so now we try 2. And with experience, you can find that there's quicker ways of narrowing this down. Okay, I changed my mind. So I'm going to take you through the right answer now. So if you want to follow, the answer is going to be 4. So what it looks like is when we do this, 1 times 4 is 4. Then we add these, that makes negative 8. Negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. So when I add those, I'm going to end up getting positive 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So when I add those, I get 0. So therefore, I have to remember, this is really of the factor x minus 4, but when we're solving it, oh, and we can rewrite this part too as well. Let's rewrite the whole thing. So now I'm going to get x minus 4, and then now I'm left with down here, remember this is the x squared, this is minus 8x plus 16. So now I'm going to have x squared minus 8x plus 16, and we've done our factoring. So now I'm able to solve these separately. I know I have one answer here, where x minus 4 equals 0, so therefore I get x equals 4. And then over here, now I just have a quadratic, so you can you can solve it by factoring, quadratic formula, or whatnot. And so I now know one of my answers is 4. Okay, so I hope that helps for number 17. You're on the right track. I just like synthetic. I wanted to show you synthetic just to make sure you'd seen it before. Number 16, okay, let me bring up your work really fast. One issue. It looks like you're trying, well, you should have had parentheses around here, because you can see the original problem. It looks like you multiply both sides by x minus 2, which is fine. So I multiply this side by x minus 2, multiply this side by x minus 2, but remember, it's the side, so it just needs parentheses. Then that divides, leaving with 1. Everything looks good over here, except then you took each factor and set them equal to 1. Your teacher probably didn't stress it enough. What you're trying to do there is called the zero product property. It's not called the one product property. It's the zero product property. So this number over here must be a 0 for you to do that. So it looks like you did this. You tried the answer. Didn't work. because they're not answers. Because the idea here is when you substitute in -3, if you put it into here, it's not going to equal 1. -3, plus 4 does give you the 1, but then the -3 minus 2 is -5, so it doesn't work out. So yeah, that's not going to work. So then it looks like what you did is you FOILed through, or you multiplied through, and you got that, and it should still be equal to 1. There we go, which is great. So now the next thing you have to do is start solving it using your zero product property. So we have to subtract the 1, so that gives us x squared plus 2x minus 9 equals 0. And now we have a quadratic that is equal to 0. So you can factor it and solve it using zero product property. You can use quadratic formula from here, or you can complete the square, whatever you're most comfortable with. And that'll get your answers. Hope that helps.